Welcome back, viewers. MACTFORDEDGE here, and we are going to be working on and maintaining our sunroof. First things first, we have to go ahead and we're going to check the function of the sunroof to see how fast it opens and how fast it closes. And then we're going to compare at the end to see if we made any improvement, or is it the same? Don't know, but let's go ahead and check it out. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open it. And the interior slides open first. And then we open the sunroof, and we're timing it. Seems to be functioning pretty good. There we go. Now this time we're going to hold the button down and fully close the glass and the roof itself, the inside. And now we're going to close the inside. There you have it. We have now got that all taken care of. So now we want to take and we want to tilt the window. So we're going to open the interior shade and we're going to tilt it back. And as you can see, that does function. We're going to go ahead and close it, and then we're going to go ahead and of course close the shade. Now folks, that is as simple as it really gets. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open this in preparation to actually performing the maintenance. So we'll go ahead and slide it all the way back. And we'll slide the window back for our panoramic sunroof in preparation for our maintenance. Now all we have to do is turn off the vehicle. Oh, one thing I want to do first is put accessory on. I'm going to drop the windows up here on both sides, in front and back. Turn the accessory off, and then we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery. Because we don't want any power while we're working on the roof, just in case something goes on and it wants to shut on us. We do not have any power to it, so we don't have to worry about movement or anything else. So we'll disconnect the negative battery terminal before we start working on this and start cleaning. So follow along as I disconnect the battery. Now we're going to go ahead and disconnect that battery, negative terminal, which is right back here. We'll just go ahead and give this a quick release, and then we'll get that disconnected. So we just jump right on in here real quick, and we just release the negative terminal, loosen it up, wiggle it free here a bit, and then we're just going to slide it off to the side here so that we don't have any contact with anything, and we're good to go. Now folks, the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to release this Torx right here, and that is a T-25 Torx. There's one here, and then right here is one, and right here is one. That is a total of 3 Torx that we're going to release the glass. And then we're going to go over here to the other side. And on this side, you see we have the Torx here, and then again we have the Torx right here and right here. Now we're going to go ahead and release these. And this way we can take this whole glass and remove the glass, and then we can get better access to the rails and the tracks in order to take and work on it. It's not a very hard process, and one person can do it. So we're going to go ahead and start that process. Okay, first thing we're going to do is go ahead and release this one. Choosing hand tools on this, just because we don't want to get it too terribly tight. And of course, this is what your screw looks like here on the back. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this one placed over here, and I'll go ahead and release these other two up front here. We're going to be working on this next one right here. As you see, we got that one done, and we'll go ahead and release this other one here. They are a little bit tight, but not too terribly bad. Getting them out is a little bit on the tight side too. Again, they're a different screw than the two front ones are definitely different than the back one. Back one's more of a positioning screw. It actually has a wider base to it to actually position and hold it. And we got the two screws here, so we'll go ahead and we'll get these into our tray here and get them taken care of. Okay folks, I took this one out. I had to struggle with it. It was tight. You have to I would almost say a little bit of PB blaster in there maybe or something. Be careful, of course, you don't spray it on there, but what you're running across is this surface right here. It's really dragging on it, and I was worried I was going to strip it out, but I got it out. But just keep in mind, it's going to be a tough one to get out. Now the next step, of course, you want to get up in here on your sunroof and just keep in mind it is heavy. So just take and lift it out and then set it down. And there you have it, folks. You have your sunroof out, and it just lifts right out. And we'll go ahead and we'll inspect what we got here. Now here's the screw that I lost right there. And as we can see, we have all our tracks and everything else. This is your vent right here. And this is what we're going to be working on lubing. You can see this. This is the runners. You want to make sure we lube all that up in our rails. And you can see my rails are really dry. There's really not any lubrication on them at all. So what we want to do is we want to take and pull these out as best we can and lubricate these tracks and clean everything up. And of course, you have the back and everything else here, the rubber seals. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our cleaning process. And as you can see, my tracks are really pretty clean, but they are dry. So lubrication is definitely a must. Okay, first things first. What I did is I went over to Dollar Tree and I bought me a tablecloth for $1. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put this between the doors, shut the doors on it, and then this way I have a protective covering for any dirt, debris, or anything else that may get into the car. So, you know, never hurts to try to protect the interior as much as possible. We're going to be using silicone, and I'm going to be using some compressed air to blow the rails out a little bit. So we want to make sure that we don't get everything dirty. But we'll just go ahead and run this into the door, then I'll run it to the other side, pull it tight, and let it drop a little so it sort of catches in the middle. And then we have a way to protect our interior and our leather from getting all nasty. So we just go ahead and basically we just run this right like so. And then of course we'll get it inside so we can get it there. And we'll essentially just shut it. And I will get it over here to the other door so that it goes through there also, and just try to cover it up that way. So we got it set there, and then of course we'll try to get some other part of it over here so we got it covered. There we go. In theory it should work. Now like I said, we'll go ahead and we'll get this all pulled over. Move all this stuff out of the way. Get the door open here a little bit so we can get this covered. And I got the back part nice and well covered. And then of course we'll go ahead and shut the door on this front part, getting it nice and tight. Okay, we got it tight. And we have the door shut, and I'll show you what I got set up. Now as you can see, I have the interior covered on the front and the back so that anything that would drop down while I'm cleaning would primarily end up on this cover. And of course, we have it all covered right here. So now we can go ahead and clean and be a little messy and still not worry about the interior of our edge. Now, some things I went and gathered up. I went to my local Harbor Freight, good disposable tools and such, and I found this assorted brush set, folks. You look at them, a few bucks for them. I think it's $5 or so bucks, whatever it is. Just keep in mind, I got all these just in case I need them to clean different areas. They're nylon brushes, they're firm but not real hard. And some are even softer brushes, pipe cleaning type brushes and things. So, and one's even got like a paintbrush end on it. Will serve its purpose. Should I need it? I have some of them to clean the edges and grooves a little bit better to get some of that stuff out. That way we got nice clean rails to start re-lubricating everything. Now the other thing I went ahead and bought was of course the acid brushes for application of the grease into all the areas that I need to. So I got these brushes again at Harbor Freight, and they were just a few bucks also, and you get like 36 of them in there, so they come in handy at home for other things too. So don't be afraid to get these as part of your tool chest. Last thing I also got was this forceps. Okay, so I can take and I can put cloths or anything, and I can get down in there and really scrub things out if I need to. So I got this handy just in case that I may need it, so it's always good to be prepared. I also have blue painter's tape. Doesn't leave any residue when you put it on the car, and it'll hold things in place. I was going to use it for the tablecloth that I bought at Dollar Tree, but the doors are holding it pretty good. But never hurts to have some non-sticky tape, as they say, that doesn't leave a residue when you put it on, and it's hot outside and everything, so this would be a great tape to use. And it is a coarse painter's tape, and it's designed not to leave any residue behind. Good thing to have when you're doing this. Now I also have grease, folks. This is of course the grease that I am using, and of course it is a dielectric grease. I bought this today because I thought I would need it. And then this of course is my other one that I've been using on batteries and everything else, and it is the same thing. But this dielectric grease of course is waterproof, and it does work very good, but this one's almost empty, so I thought I might need some more, so I went to the store and bought this. But do have 2 tubes here, so I'm ready to go as far as lubricating everything up, and then of course going. Another thing, folks, shop towels. Yes, I bought another box of these. I always have these in handy, and my last box is pretty much empty. So I went and bought another box because I'm going to use these. I can rip them up, use those forceps and the brushes and everything else, and I can clean everything in there. I don't like cotton balls and cotton stuff because that leaves cotton fibers behind, cotton balls especially. So I'm going to use these rags to clean everything else up, and I do have the brushes. And I think what I'm going to do to make sure things are really clean is of course just scrub everything down and make sure it's clean and dry it up. And I might use a small solution of Dawn dishwashing detergent and some these brushes and then towels to dry everything up. I also will be using compressed air to start the whole process, so that's where we're going to step to next. Now, never leave anything to chance, but what I do have is this, what I call a non-OSHA compliant air gun nozzle. so be careful with it. It doesn't have any vent tubes, but it is hooked up to my air compressor, and it does have the long reach and the small tip at the end, so we can get down in there and clean everything. It's set about 90 psi, which should be more than sufficient to do any cleaning. And remember, if you want to, just go down to 30 psi, whatever may be suitable for you. But I bought this here. Again, another Harbor Freight usable thing. I don't make a living using these tools, so if it breaks, I'm only out about $5 or $10, I think. But it does come in handy to get those hard to reach places, blow them out and get that garbage out, which is why I put that curtain over there, or tablecloth, across the top, because blowing out with compressed air is going to throw a lot of garbage around. We don't want it in the edge, do we? Now we're going to go and put our nozzle in here. Now you can see why this is needed. And we're going to clean this out. We're going to run this nozzle up through the rail here. And as you can see, there's a lot of garbage we can get out of there. But we want to make sure that this is, of course, clean. So we got that, and we'll do the same thing over on the other side. Now we'll go ahead and we'll start here. Being careful. Look at that. We got some stuff coming out. So we want to be real careful with this, but we want to blow everything out and then make sure it's nice and clean. And again, you can just work it in there and get it nice and cleaned out. A little bit of debris, but not too bad. Now we're going to go, I got some soapy solution here, and we're going to go and shove this in here, and we're going to scrub it out just a little bit in case there's anything in there that we don't want. A little bit of dirt, not too terribly bad, but we slide it all the way in there and we just scrub this all out. Now we're going to lube this up, but we want to scrub it out. I'll blow it out with compressed air in a bit, and we'll of course do it. Now just keep in mind, you don't want to move this too much and get it out of sync, but we're going to clean this up here real good. And as you can see, there is some dirt to it, so you want to make sure you do get it cleaned and scrubbed out good. And we're going to have to resynchronize this thing once we're done. Now, since we're here, we're going to go ahead and scrub this whole thing down here and get this old grease. Man, this stuff's looking nasty. Okay, so we're getting it all scrubbed out with this soap and water solution, and we're gonna get these rails cleaned up as good as we can. Get some of that old grease off of there. And I'll do a close-up on the other side, what I'm doing here, but I'm just giving you an overall view now what I'm doing, so you can get a general idea about what you would or would not want to do as far as cleaning. Again, there's a lot of the oils and everything there. Just slash that through the soapy water. Then we're gonna go and clean some more of it. I'm getting a lot of garbage in there, and we'll get that all cleaned up and gone over. And then this rail right here that is on the inside, you want to get that one nice and clean and get it all cleaned up. Again, there's a lot of debris and grease that's gathering up that I'm finding here, so we're going to blow it all out, dry it all out, clean it all up, and get all this residue out of the way. definitely want to clean this. Oh, that's lots of dirt here too. So don't forget the end of the rail here. You're going to have to wash the car just a little bit after you're done probably. But the idea is we all want our rails clean. So that's what we're really aiming for. Wow, that black stuff is hot in the sun too, trust me. This part right here, woo, that's warm. And of course we got some parts here that you want to clean up, but I think we got everything, everything's loosened up as far as the cleaning. We'll go ahead and I'll give you some close-ups of the other side as far as the cleaning goes. And how do we get those corner parts here? That's the hard part. How are we going to get all these here? Watch out, folks. The metal is sharp. Yikes. That just cut me. Okay? So, looks like we're going to have to get a Band-Aid. That is sharp. So, let's go get a Band-Aid. Okay, we're back. All's good. Just a little war wound, but we're going to go ahead and clean this one. As you can see, we run this brush in here, clean this rail. Probably doesn't get it except when you go through the car wash or something. And I cannot stress enough, folks, the metal edges on here are very, very sharp. So you do want to watch what you're doing. It definitely bit me. So watch what you're doing. But clean that all up, and then of course we're going to go ahead and clean this other side. And as you can see, we go up underneath here, clean this, being careful of the metal. And again, we clean these rails, a little bit of soapy water. This will help cut some of the grease down, grime, break it up, loosen it up, should there be any. We'll be more careful here, not get our hand caught in it. And as you can see, where the grease and everything is built up, I'm going to try to show you here a little bit closer. Hopefully you can see that right over here. But we're going to take and lift this up and set it off to the side, and then we're going to run it through this rail where all this grease is. You can see all that. We're going to get that cleaned up and soaked up with a rag. But we're going to get it all clean first. Make sure that it's in good shape. But there's a lot of garbage down in there that you're going to have to clean out. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of it down in there that you're going to want to clean. We'll use the compressed air and the forceps and everything else to get all that. Looks like we got a little piece of something stuck in there. And I'll double check to see what that is on the other side. And then we got our rail right in on the inside here. And I'll give you all close up what I'm actually looking at here while we're doing it. Okay, now you can see what we're looking at. All the garbage and everything else that of course is right in here. So I'll loosen it up with the detergent and everything, and then we're going to go through and we're going to clean it all up and get all the rags in there and get everything cleaned out and nice and shiny and dry. Little compressed air, and then we will go ahead and start getting ready to lubricate everything once we get it all cleaned up. now's the time that we want to start running everything in there, and we can use, of course, our little forceps here to grab a hold of stuff and keep our fingers out of the way of the hard parts and run the rags up through there and clean all this garbage out that is up in there. And as you can see, the rag will absorb most of it. Now, some of you won't be able to get in there even with the forceps, so what you're going to have to do is, of course, go down in there and work it in with the point to get those crevices out and get them cleaned out as best you can. Okay, so small screwdriver would definitely be helpful in this endeavor also, but some of the bigger grooves you can run right through there. I'll get a screwdriver and we'll run it through the other parts here to clean everything up. The other part of it is you want to make sure you get this rail back here, and be careful your fingers because it is sharp. And then you get all that old grease. As you can see, there's not a lot there that is actually built up on this, so you do want to make sure that you get down in there and get everything cleaned. I will get the screwdriver so we can get these other little pieces out, and we'll go from there. I'm going to check the other side to see what this little black piece is, and if it ain't on that side, it looks like it's a screw, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But looks like we got everything cleaned out here. I'll just get the screwdriver to get these smaller rails, and then I think we'll be getting in the money as far as our cleaning goes to re-lube everything back up. All right, now we position this spring up out of the way, and if you remember from my last video on the door in the window, well, we're going to use this tool here to get into the crevice and clean that crevice out really good. Get all that water and anything else that is in there. And then, of course, switch it over to the other one. And we're getting everything nice and clean. And we can run it up in there. And then I can also get this rail right here. Nice and clean. Look at that. Got some more with it. So just try to be proactive on this and get everything clean as much as possible. Again, we're getting all the old stuff out so we can put the new stuff in. Looks like we got a little piece down here. Try to get that out. There we go. Looks like we got her. Well, folks, looks like we've got it as clean as we're going to get it. So we're going to go ahead and clean our screen just a little bit. Got a little bit of oil and stuff on here, or bugs, one of the two. But we're going to go ahead and get that all taken care of. Now we're going to go ahead and clean everything off here again. Cleaning this rail. Get this top rail cleaned up as good as we can using our plastic tool to get all the garbage out of there. Seems to be the best choice. Not everything that I suggested is being used, but you know what? You live and learn as you go. So we're getting it all cleaned up. Getting these rails nice and washed up. Again, I used some soap and water on them to get into the rails, clean everything up. And it looks like we're getting it. Now we're going to get some of this really narrow spot here. It's all dirty. There we go. Getting the right thickness of paper towel, so to speak, in there is sort of an art more than a science. There. There's going to be some grease left, and there's not much you can do about it. Tearing this thing apart completely is another endeavor that, you know, not for the lighthearted, I'm going to assume. So I'm going to go ahead and cover what we can do as an owner in doing our own maintenance. See if I can get in there without cutting my finger again. There we go. Got it. So we got all this cleaned out, it looks like. All the old stuff is out of there. A little bit here and there. It looks like I got it all. And one last part up here. And it looks like we got her. Okay, so we got everything that we need to get done here, and clean up one more spot back here in the back a little bit. But overall, folks, that's pretty much it. Now we're going to go ahead and lube everything back up. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pull this slide forward, and what I'm told is there's some feet on here. Now this is the first time I did this, so we're going to go ahead and do this very carefully. Slide this out. If it comes out. I was told that it does, but so far, not seeing it and how it comes out. There we go. All right. Now you got to pay attention to how this is, and it is dirty. And we don't want to lose these tracks. Okay. Now as you can see, that is what they look like. And this is the bottom of them, or what they look like. So what I'm going to do is clean these off, and we're going to look and see what kind of difference it'll make as far as cleaning them. But as you can see, they're pretty dirty. So we want to give these a good cleaning, and then of course check and see what's going on. I'm going to have to get a brush to clean these, because look at all this built up dirt, folks. Look at all that built up dirt. So we're going to go ahead and get these cleaned up here. All right, so we're going to clean these up, and I'm just going to use this brush and get all this dirt and garbage out of here to show you guys what it is. But it looks like it's got some wear. I got some little plastic pieces that are sticking out of there. So we'll get that one pinched off of here. But I think we might flip these around, because it looks like there's some wear on here on the outside one. So we're going to go ahead and get it all cleaned up, and then I drop it in the water. Oh well. But we're going to get this all washed up and cleaned up, and then we can get it put back in after we re-lube it up, because it's so dirty. We're going to have to re-grease this thing back up to here. And I could definitely see wear and all the wear is on the outside ones, and you can see the flat parts where they've wore. So we're going to go ahead and get them flipped around a little bit here, I think. But I'm going to get the grease and the dirt and the garbage off of these, and then we don't have to worry about them sliding off or having any issues. The feet do come off, so be careful. Not that you can't get them back on, but you know, you just don't want to lose them. But we get all that garbage out of there, then I think we're all set. And as you can see, they're nice and clean now. But as you can see, we do have them a lot cleaner. And of course, we'll go ahead and put some more dielectric grease on these and then move them back in. Now, as I said, it goes in this way, okay? And if we look at it, we want to make sure that we flip the feet around so that the worn part is then up. That way we have the lesser worn parts on the upside. Hopefully that'll make it slide easier, but I'm going to go ahead and lube this thing back up, and then we'll go ahead and slide it right back into this rail, and then we'll go do the other one on the other side. Well, folks, this is it. This is how it all looks. Got it all lubricated up, and of course I'm going to slide this back in, and we're going to go ahead and do the next one on the other side. But basically we just slide her down in here carefully, getting the feet to seat, and then you just take and you slide it all the way back. And there you go. That's it. We have it all the way. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this one slid. And as you can see, you slide it out. I'm going to try to capture this. As it comes out, you can just slide that out of there. Sorry, my finger's got to be in the way. Slide this thing out. It's not exactly the easiest sometimes. Maybe I can get it at this angle. There we go. As you can see, it slides right out. And look how dry this one is. There's nothing on it. So I got to get those out of there. They all fell out. We don't want to lose these because they fall out, but they're so dry they're just falling right off. So you can see where we got to get them clean and re-lube back up. So let's get this going, all cleaned up, and get it greased back up. Just so you guys can see all the grease that I've gotten out of these tracks that's sitting on there. Pretty nasty, huh? So we're getting everything cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and clean these up now. Get these in here. Get them washed up a bit. I'm going to have to scrub them and of course put them back in. I'll just go ahead and let them sit there and soak a little bit. And then get things cleaned up. Apparently they just pop right off of there, so I wonder if there's parts available to replace those. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Anyway, you can wash this thing up, then we can dry her, and then we can just reassemble and re-grease everything after we get it all cleaned up. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. We're just going to go ahead and clean these little pieces here. Get all the grease and garbage off of them. Takes a little bit of cleaning, but again, these little brushes that I bought from Harbor Freight are paying dividends. It was a good decision when I was there. Comes in handy to clean these. There we go. Getting them all nice and cleaned up. Get this Vista roof to function just like it was new, or at least hopefully, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. Haven't really done anything terribly bad to it other than remove the glass. So we got that done so I can get rid of this.